time for another vampire story night. This should be an exciting journey through the story of Varney the Vampire. This story is 50 years older than Dracula. 50 years before Bram Stoker wrote Dracula, this book was compiled. It was really a mixture of penny dreadfuls that were pieced together. But these were the vampire stories that inspired almost everything we now know about modern vampires or think about modern vampires. Lots of it has its origins here with this story. It's been amazing, and we're making a lot of progress on reading through it. So if you're just joining us, welcome in. Thank you so much. We'll begin reading in 30 minutes right at 7 Central. So if you're joining this on a recording later, you can skip about 28 minutes ahead. And we should be reading, or you can just hang out with us and watch us chit-chat with everybody and answer questions as people come in from all the different platforms to join us on this live. Thank you, everyone. Beautiful, beautiful weather today. I hope most of the country is as good a weather as we're having. Nice 80 degrees. So you're new here. Well, I'm Shane. Welcome in. And I'm going to be reading a vampire story to you with my wife here in just a little while. But in the meantime, we're going to hang out. We can talk about business. We can talk about investing. We can talk about whatever it is that is on your mind. And every 50,000 likes here on TikTok, I will perform some magic for you. So if you enjoy magic, make sure to tap, tap, tap. Welcome in, Winged Matchbox. Welcome in. Do you like magic? Because I enjoy magic very much. How is your hair growing in? How have you been feeling? It's growing in much better than it was. I don't have any of the itchiness anymore. It's bristly at times, like all the new hair keeps growing in more and more. And I keep expecting it to get over the bristly stage as some of the new hairs are growing. So some of them, well, those are some of the longer ones. As some of them have gotten, like this long, and they're not bristly. Those are the ones that have been growing the whole time. But then I've got lots of new little ones that are short, and like my hair is really prickly when it's short. Do I think I'm going to win? I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think I was going to win, or at least had a really good shot at it. Does it mean I will win? Not necessarily. But I can tell you, I think that I am way ahead of the competitors that I have. Not necessarily because of anything other than you guys sharing my videos and sharing my campaign messages and supporting the cause that I've put together. And also lots of my local community. I mean, a lot of people think I'm just a strange guy on TikTok, that this is my social outlet, but I can assure you that I've been a part of the Fort Smith community my entire life, and behind the scenes I know lots and lots of people, and lots of people know me on a personal level, or at least an acquaintance level. So I think we're going to be good. Need more reno videos, please. I'm hoping to do some more renovation videos soon. I've been working on a friend's house, and the city of Fort Smith is very bad about shutting me down on renovations when I make videos about them. Since it isn't my house, I'm a little bit more timid because I don't want him shut down over the projects that I'm doing. Is Ransom my only son? No, I have another son. Welcome in. I'm glad you're here joining me. Thank you for the roses, Donna. You're always incredible. Thank you so much, Gloria. Thank you, thank you. The gifts really do make a big difference for us on our lives. So the more gifts you give, the more people we can reach. You got married in Fort Smith in 1994. Well, congratulations, Allie. What books do we enjoy reading live? So we are reading Varney the Vampire. I'm turning this around the right way. Varney the Vampire. This is from the 1840s. We're going to be reading this starting in about 24 minutes. The wife will be joining us. It's going to be a very fun time. Sometimes I read other books, like I have, here it is, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Every once in a while I may be reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We read different stories. Is this that guy who does the vampire behind the chair hand thing? I don't know what you're talking about by vampire behind the chair hand thing. That doesn't necessarily mean anything to me. You just got Rich Dad Poor Dad and you're through the first chapter. Congratulations, you're just getting started. It's easy to read, isn't it? It's a really easy read. What's the secret to being happy every day instead of being sad? You have to become okay with who you are as an individual with nothing, with no modifiers whatsoever. Something happens to us when we socialize at a young age, I feel like, as kids, and this is me getting philosophical, maybe I'm wrong, but this is the thing I feel like that means the most to me. Hey, Troy, welcome in. When you try to socialize, you talk about, oh, I've got great hair, or oh, I've got this thing going, or I like this kind of sport. I like football. Do you like football? Or do you play golf? Or do you do this? And we look for connections with people oftentimes. We look for happiness in the objects and things that allow us to have those. My golf clubs, my TV, my video game system, my computer, my phone. We start to associate satisfaction and happiness to all these things that we connect to others through and that we see as identifying ourselves with. When you become okay with yourself with none of those things, which is hard to do, when you become okay with yourself without your friends around, isolated, or without even the possibility of having your friends to talk to, when you can become comfortable alone and with nothing, everything you have beyond that is great. So anytime you have anything, you'll be happy. When you have food to eat, you'll be happy you have food. When you have a person to talk to, you'll be happy you have a person to talk to. When you get to see something on TV, like a show or something, it's like, oh, well, at least I have this I can be fun with. But it won't be in the same way. It won't be in the, now I'm happy. It'll just be, this is a bonus. You have to become happy, I feel like, with nothing but yourself as who you are, without masks, without other things. I'm glad you appreciate my story. I'm glad you appreciate my style, Goddess. Do you for real think you're a vampire, or do people make that up? What do you think is more important than what I think? Well, I'm happy I could help you in small little ways. It is evening, I suppose. I need to adjust my microphone a little bit here. Sorry for the noise there. That, I think, will be a little bit better. Yes, I'm in Fort Smith and I'm running for mayor. Thank you for the happy thing. How did I meet my wife? She is beautiful. Find a good roommate. She was dating my roommate. If you have a good roommate, you're more likely that your roommate's girlfriend is awesome too, right? How you doing, Les? It's good to have you in one of our readings again. We're going to begin reading in 19 minutes. What book is Jennifer reading in her spare time? You overestimate us if you think we have spare time. Spare time is not something that exists for us. We are in the middle of adulting very hard, doing a lot of adult activities, between running for mayor, between social media, between renovating and managing 20 properties and Airbnbs and all these things. Spare time is not something that exists in our world. She finished that, yeah. Would you pay $800 a month for a new Mercedes or BMW to lease? No, I wouldn't. I am not, I don't think there's any value that would be added to my life from that. I'm fine with a nice, economical Subaru. Aw, thank you for the sunshine. Have I ever watched Vampire Diaries? No, I never have. Never even seen an episode. What do you take out from your 401k to buy a house? Well, you could do a self-directed 401k, and you could actually buy a house within your 401k. So it is possible to transfer your 401k, potentially, depending on if you're self-employed or not. But if you can identify as self-employed, you can create a self-directed 401k, and it's possible to buy a house within a 401k as an investment rather than having a stock as part of that or whatever other investment. The Montreal screw job really got you, Brett. No wonder Hogan didn't waste. Whatever you're saying is like partially English and partially other things. I have no idea what you're trying to say, bud. Why do you have to ruin the party? Because they were ruining my property. Also, parties are not tolerated as Airbnbs. It's not something that Airbnb tolerates. Allowing a party can literally cause me to lose my ability to host. Ah, you got my shirt in the mail and you're going to do an unboxing on it. Thank you for buying the shirt. That helps to support my mayor campaign. That is a huge deal for me, and I really, really appreciate you. And for those of you who want to support us, of course, Vampire Mayor, followed by a dot and then com. Vampire Mayor. Is there some days you're tired of TikTok and don't want to create content? Yes, and when I feel that way, I don't usually create content. Hello, West Virginia. Welcome in. What do you think about Baptist Hospital closing? I heard they're just reorganizing. I don't think they're closing. I think they're combining some of the things on the campus, and they're kind of spread out pretty wide. So getting into a smaller form factor space might make a lot of sense. I need to change this to D.
I do occasionally read, but I'm not in the middle of anything.
She's not currently reading.
Unless you count that spicy Peter Pan series.
Oh, you've been reading some spicy Peter Pan? Peter Pan fan fiction, huh? You weren't ruining the property, though. Well, I can tell you that if you aren't ruining the property at the moment that I get there, after a few more hours of adults' beverages, it is amazing how destructive things can be. I've had parties in the past knock holes in the walls, break down shelves, literally videos sent to me later of kids swinging from the rafters and possibly getting injured. None of those things are okay. Plus, again, if I allow it to continue, Airbnb will shut me down and I lose my income, which is how I pay for my bills, how I take care of my children, all of those things. So I am going to break up a party if you're having one. People are being laid off each day at Baptist. This is a big deal for our city. Dorinda, if you would like to send me the inside scoop on that a little bit, if you'd like to send me what you have on your perspective, I do, that matters to our city. That is obviously one of the two big hospitals in our city. And whatever's going on there has an impact, and I'd like to know more about it. But right now, I am not informed. I just heard they were doing a consolidation and reinvestment, and I heard it was going to involve like $20 million more going into redeveloping some of those properties there. What degree did I finish at a university? I did not get a degree at a university. I quit after my first year. I did not enjoy going to school. Do you know where your piling numbers are, like if you are the first, second, third, etc. favorite candidate among, polling numbers. So we don't have any polls right now that are scientific. There have been a couple of just amateur polls put up on social media, and it wasn't by me or on my social media, but I came out as a heavy favorite. But that's not that surprising. I reach lots and lots of people. Why did you just turn that off?
Because it's cold.
It's not cold. It's like so incredibly hot. Oh, I guess it could just be because I'm in your presence.
Maybe.
You make me so warm.
Maybe. Hey, I got this dress at our local boutique. Nothing to wear. Super fun. How much is the pirate Airbnb for 2 days? It's probably going to run maybe about $250.
Something like
You know,
that.
it depends. Weekday, weekends, things are.
Do
more
you have a
expensive
pet?
on weekends.
Those kinds of things?
How many people are coming to stay?
I'm going to put this opposite me so I'm not as likely to bump it. Come on. There it goes. I think. Maybe?
This dress was from Nothing to Wear. It's a local boutique. Do we buy boutique hotels? Maybe someday. That could be really fun.
Yeah, we've
someday.
actually talked about doing that at some point.
Thank you. This was a gift from my friend here in TikTok land. This lipstick isn't she jelly? Or no, it's She's Just Jelly. From Beauty Bakery. What are my religious beliefs? I would guess its closest thing you would recognize it to would be Christianity, although some people wouldn't consider us Christians because of vampire, gothic.
Excuse me. What age did I get to 1 million net worth? Probably about 38, 39, something like that. I started off with nothing, so and in reality, it only took about 1.5 years once we learned how to actually invest. Once we read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad and we understood that, it was so much faster to make money than it ever was before that.
Yep, we made it before we hit 40s. Yay! Thank you. Lovely as Ursula. Thank you so much.
Are the earrings obsidian?
No, they're plastic.
Oh, did you get a bath?
He did. I got a bath.
Oh, you've got a tie.
Pictures. Oh, look at you.
You've got a tie.
This is Skye.
Hey, Skye. What did you just drop?
The magnet to the...
to the thing. Gotcha.
And you smell good? He smells
Thank
so
you.
good. This is Skye. He's precious. Here. Where's your brushes?
He just got back from the groomer. The most awesome groomer of all.
The most awesome groomer of all.
There we go.
Do we speak Romanian? I forgot how.
I can speak a little bit of Transylvanian. Like, you're welcome.
Oh, you're so precious. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're so precious. He just came to say hi. Now he's moving on. Yes, Skye is adorable.
How was the first couple of weeks with the teeth? Did it take time to get used to them? Yeah.
Skye isn't my pet.
A little bit. It's our brother's pet.
I do not know.
He hasn't made it back yet, so they may be working late because Matt didn't show up until later, so it's possible they decided to work late. I don't know. They were making progress when I left. I ended up with a TV5 news interview I had to do about 2:30 or 3, something like that, so I had to leave. They're doing a story on the petition.
But I will treat Skye nicely and lovely. And Skye is precious.
Want to run a tattoo shop?
Our love story is movie worthy. How nice. Thank you. Oh, Vanessa. I think your tattoo shop was really cool that I got to go in and see it. I got to see it once.
Why the teeth? To bite things, of course. Why else would you have teeth?
How do I keep our teeth so white? We use the Lumino. It's in a blue box. It's all natural teeth whitening. Oh, thank you. Good night to you. I have some, but I don't have them out all the time.
If you could go back in time, where would you be? I'm going to tell you a story about a young Shane, about 21-ish years old.
He has no tattoos, but I
So-
have some.
So I would go back to when I was 21 years old. You see, there's this guy, older, more wealthy man that said, Shane, you're really smart. You're the kind of guy that could be very successful and could make a lot of money in life. What you need to do is read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I was like, I don't need to read a book. I'm really smart. I'm going to figure out how to become successful on my own. He's like, no, Shane, there are things that you will learn so much better through this story than if you try to figure it out on your own. And I was like, nah, dude, I'm really intelligent. I'm going to figure this out for myself. If I could go back in time and punch myself in the face at that exact moment and punch myself over and over and over again and make myself read that book, like, you read it right now, like, that's the thing I would do if I had a time machine. Waiting until I was 36, 37 before I read that was a big, huge mistake in my life. And if you've never read it, you should read it. It's life-changing. Oh, you added it into the showcase.
I pinned it, yeah.
Yeah.
Do.
Way to go.
Thank you. Good evening, England.
What is the petition for? The petition is to change our government so that the mayor has the powers most of us associated mayors having.
What dentist do we go to? That would be Dr. Moore's office.
Do you really bite her? No disrespect, honestly, just very curious about you. How curious. Do I nibble on her? Does my psychiatrists know that I'm on here? They're probably watching.
We don't have any.
If you have a question about CC's, what I prefer I ask, I couldn't read the rest of your question. It came in too fast.
On here. You can ask on here if you like.
Mm-hmm.
But you're more likely to get a longer, better answer, probably private messaging. But he does get a lot of private messages, so it might take a few days.
Can I do an update on the posts that I'm sculpting on the porch? I'll do an update on that soon. I'm hoping to spend a little bit of time, maybe this weekend, working on it, but she's got a whole list of other honeydews I have to do. So,
What was the project?
the sculpture.
Oh.
People want to see my dragon.
Yeah, I do have some honeydews inside my
Yep.
B&Bs that I want him to get to first.
Yep. Do I have any hobbies?
Who's more jealous? Totally me.
Yeah, definitely her. I like roller skating. I like martial arts. I inspired you to start flipping houses. Congratulations.
Yay!
Congratulations. Make sure to hold on to some of them. Don't flip all of them. You need to keep some of them.
Well, you flip them, but you keep them.
Yeah, you don't just sell them. You flip them and rent them and hang on to them.
Do we go to vampire parties? I haven't been to any of those.
So you're like the vamps on South Park, per se?
You have no tattoos either, but your wife does.
You found an old Moby Dick book that's almost 100 years old. I thought of you guys for your pirate Airbnb.
That'd be
that's
amazing.
such a cool story.
I would worry about it in a B&B though.
And it's definitely not a pirate book, but it's definitely a nautical book. And I think that would, I don't know that I'd want to put like
something
books,
that's precious. That's
books
a collectible.
have a way of walking away.
Our copy of Dracula has stayed put inside the vampire's den though. So far, so good. But I would be concerned with something that's precious as a 100-year-old copy.
Yes, we are in Fort Smith, and that's where you met your husband. Well, I'm glad. Yes, that's exactly where we're from.
Yes, real estate is our full-time job.
Yes, we've been to New Orleans. We've even been to some of the secret vampire establishments in New Orleans that you have to be invited in.
And I consider myself more spiritual than religious. We're going to be reading the vampire book tonight in about 5 minutes.
Yep. So those of you who are excited about our story, we'll do a recap here in a little bit, and we'll get started, and we'll continue on with Varney. Thank you for all the gifts. Thank you for the taps and everything. That does help us greatly as creators.
I get jealous of his time. He is a super busy guy.
I am.
You're asking why I would ever get jealous. He's pulled in so many different directions, and we don't always get to spend the time together that I would like.
I really don't have free moments. We got to spend a little bit of extra time yesterday because the city council meeting was canceled or wasn't happening, and then apparently there was an emergency meeting that they called with very little notice, so I didn't go to that, but we did end up getting to spend a little extra time together. But every night of the week, almost every day, we have something.
Oh, wait,
I
this
could
guy
do a
says
voiceover on the Calm app. I don't know what that is.
this guy says he's been here for 890 years and we haven't run into you before.
That's weird.
That
yeah.
is weird.
It seems like we would have met by now.
Mm-hmm.
What inspired us to be vampires? What inspired you to be human? At what moment were you like, I'm so inspired, I'm going to be human?
Why don't you start a podcast? He's talked about it before. I guess you could be using a different name than you used before.
Seriously, I thought you possibly could have been someone who could refresh our city, but nope, that's okay.
Darling, it's a vamp.
If you want to send me the information about Baptist and what's going on, just to be clear, there is no single individual in Fort Smith that knows everything happening in every organization and everything. So I'm very interested in what's going on, but what I know is very small and very insignificant right now. Give me more information and I can become more informed. Thank you for the fireworks, Gloria. That is very generous of you.
No, I eat beef most of the time, not people. Sunday
Well,
we
welcome in. I'm
go
glad you
to
guys are here.
brunch, and you can join us at brunch if you like.
Yes, she is gorgeous, isn't she? I love her so much.
We are in Fort Smith, Arkansas.
For those of us that are wondering why are we shaking our heads like crazy, in some of the apps we get gifts that kind of move with our heads and things and do different stuff. So some of the other apps you didn't see that, but that's okay.
Do I live by sell-by dates on beef? I go by smell, usually.
Are werewolves real? Man, they shed like crazy. You won't believe. We definitely don't like them staying in our houses.
But they can. They can. We do say pet friendly. Our cleaners are amazing. Are our children vampires?
Not that we know of yet.
No, we're waiting to see.
Yeah.
Have I ever seen a ghost? No.
Has
I
a
have not.
ghost ever seen you?
Team Edward or Jacob? Neither one. Who sired me? Just some guy. If it doesn't smell right, don't eat it.
Have you been to Miss Bella in Tan Pan Alley in New Orleans? That doesn't ding a specific bell. It doesn't mean that we haven't been there and not paid enough attention to the names.
How do you know that you are human? Are you sure you're not some other kind of cryptid? Hello, England. How old are our children? They are in their 20s. What is my favorite book? That is a difficult one because there are so many wonderful books. But currently we are reading on our Monday night exercise time, which is every other Monday, Out of the Silent Planet by C.S. Lewis, and it is quite lovely.
What's going on with the yellow house? Well, we've got it, in the dry and everything, and we're waiting to get started on it. We have to finish some other projects first. Yar! It's be a pirate hat.
I would love for us to be able to get started on that as soon as possible. However, we have several other projects that are much closer to being finished that we need to finish.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how smelly are we? I would say...
I smell like rose oil.
Yeah, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most smelly, 1 being the least smelly, we're probably in the 2 category, roughly. Least smelly would be no perfumes of any kind.
But I just put on some rose oil.
I know, that's smelly,
though. It smells so nice.
It smells nice, but it's still a smelly, isn't it?
Yes, it is a type of smelly.
All right, let's get started on our story. It's after 7.
Sweet little old ladies that you think they're wearing like a whole gallon of perfume.
Yes. So this is Varney the Vampire. This story is 50 years older than Dracula. This was what inspired most of the things that we now know and love about vampires, like vampires getting into real estate. You know, as we followed Varney on his beginning adventure, he was trying to buy a property, and people were discriminating against him and didn't want to sell him the property because he was a vampire, which is not okay. Fortunately, we're in a more civilized time now. It's not the 1820s in England. We have equal housing laws, and vampires not only can buy properties, we can teach you how to buy properties. So the world has changed a lot in the last couple hundred years. Now, we just joined Varney on another attempt to woo a young lady and also to acquire a large amount of gold.
He failed.
And he failed. Admiral showed up again at the very last moment as he was waiting at the altar for the wedding to be finalized, and unfortunately, that failed. So Varney did not have the wedding that he's been trying to have, and he got chased out of town because of the unaliving that he did. So it's unfortunate. But that said, we're going to start a new chapter right after the wedding ended and Varney took off, and we'll get to see what's going on. I read the parts for Varney the Vampire. She reads the other parts. I will be communicating to you through her
Didn't
account.
we finish that whole section last time?
You took off, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said. So we're starting a whole new section.
Whole new section.
We get to find out what happened after the thing, like what's going on now, a whole new part to the story, whatever.
No, but we're shifting locations.
Total location shift.
Total location shift.
Okay, well, apparently I have no idea what's happening, but neither do they, so it's okay.
We're not going to know anything about what happened after Varney ran off from that location.
We'll never know anything?
No.
Never?
Never. Varney left, and the story's going to follow to a whole new location.
Okay.
Oh, Dally, I'm sure you remember when they were digging the sewer system in London. That was a mess. Anyway, part 6. The vampire goes a-courting. There had been a great heat during the day, even for the sunny shores of Naples. Not a cloud had been seen all day, not a breath of air had been stirring. All was golden sunshine. All was fair. The very sea glittered like a molten gold, and the heat was oppressive in the extreme. So much so that even the Neapolitans themselves stirred not out of doors, but sank listless and sleepy on the couch, fanning themselves and endeavoring to create an air that would give some slight refreshment. Even the sea was calm. The very waves lashed the shore lazily and appeared to partake of the general weariness that came over all nature, all things that moved. There was no soul stirring in the villas that were seen dotted about the environs of Naples, most of them, like palaces, surrounded on every side by gardens and fountains, walled in and secure from the intrusion of a stranger. There was one of great magnificence adjoining the small wood, Del Notti, that reared its stately structure on a slope looking towards the sea, though at a mile or two's distance, but close adjoining the wood. The gardens were extensive and abutted on the wood, which was a cool and shady spot at most times, and if such a one were now to be found, it would certainly be found in the woods of Del Notti. The trees grew tall and spread their branches out until they interlaced each other so completely that when the foliage was on them, the light rarely found its way to the earth, save in a dim and diluted form. Here, there might now and then be found some of those who had been overtaken by the heat of the day, or who, from choice, preferred the coolness of the woods to the walls of their houses. Here, then, reposing beneath the great trees, might occasionally be found a few individuals who slept in the coolness of the shade. Near the wall of the villa, where the wood ran, were some tall black trees, mostly fir and cedar. There, beneath one of the latter, lay a tall, gaunt-looking man, who, notwithstanding the weather, was wrapped up in a cloak of large dimensions and a sable color. There was something strange in that man's appearance. Above all, the cloak which he wore was a thing so much out of place that none other than himself could or would have worn it. What was his motive none could divine, were it not for the concealment of his person, which seemed likely enough. Were you about to say something?
No, I'm just trying to respond to several different messages on different platforms all at once. Yep.
You are a busy bee.
I am a busy bee. I actually have been completely lost on the story because of how many different people I'm talking to.
We're still setting the scene.
Yes, it sounded like it was just the setting, but I don't know the setting fully yet. So
Naples.
Naples, Florida. I didn't know they... I mean, I guess they could have gone to Florida in the 1840s.
Why not? Until we know better, it'll be Naples, Florida.
Okay, sounds great.
His slouched hat was bent over his eyes. His face was scarcely distinguishable between the collar and the cloak and the hat, though he lay on his back motionless, and without heeding aught that neared him. It was true, there did not exist any reason why he should take any heed, seeing that at that point no one ever came. It was a spot that was not frequented, having a bad name, which usually deters people from trusting themselves in such a place. However, the stranger lay motionless, and apparently without fear. Perhaps it was the long two-edged sword that he wore that gave him his security. At all events, he lay there in silence, and almost motionless, quite entirely so, save the motion of breathing, and his eyes now and then turned in a particular direction. The hours rolled by, and no one approached, till the sun sunk low towards the ocean, there to bury himself till another morrow appeared. The heat of the high noon was past, and the shadows of the trees reduced the light in the wood to a twilight, and the stranger arose and stood beneath the shadow of a tall one, while he appeared to be listening for some sound, which he appeared to expect from some particular quarter of the wood. The hour of noon is some hours past, and with it a gentle sea breeze begins to fan the heated shores, and here and there might be seen some of the inhabitants creeping about in the shady places. The stranger listened, and from the quarter to which he appeared most to direct his attention, he heard sounds proceed. These were those made by persons walking over the dried leaves and sticks which lay scattered about from the effects of the storms that sometimes visit even these pleasant shores. "She comes," he muttered, and his eye glanced round, and he grasped the hilt of his sword. "She comes, but does she come alone?" He paused, and again listened. "She comes not alone. Another is with her, but no matter. She shall come. I have the means of security here, but above all, I need her." He paused again and listened, but quietly drew his sword, which was long and sharp, and stood beneath the trees, while the voices and sounds slowly approached, until they came quite distinct and audible. "And so," said a man's voice, but in a low key, "the Marquess is not well." "She is quite indisposed." "I was about to say, I could hardly feel it in my heart to regret it." "And why could you be so unfeeling?" "Because, my dear Fiammetta, had she been well, you would scarce have got away from her this evening, and I should have had but a little of your sweet company." "I'm afraid I may have read some of your lines."
Oh, no. I get lines.
Here, you can say "she comes."
She comes. No, that's not how Varney speaks.
What?
I just had to...
Well, I already said these lines.
I know. She comes. She comes not alone. It's almost like Shay's mom.
Oh, heavens.
I turned it into a your mom joke. Serious lines. and I went and made it a your mom joke.
Oh,
What kind of
heavens.
miscreant am I? The South Park generation. That's the problem. Yep. Blame it on TV.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
I was about to say I could hardly feel it in my heart to regret it.
And why could you be so unfeeling?
Because, my dear Fiammetta, had she been well, you would scarce have got away from her this evening, and I should have had but little of your sweet company.
I'll admit that, but you were not selfish in desiring it.
Why, yes. Yes, I was.
And are you not ashamed to say so?
No, I am not, Fiammetta. I can acknowledge anything that concerns myself and you, for I must admit a great deal of selfishness in this matter. I love you tenderly, and that puts all the world besides us. I think nothing of anyone save you, and for you I would sacrifice the whole world.
I am fearful of you.
And wherefore should you be fearful of me, fair one? Am I not willing and ready to fight for you, to unalive for you? I would not fear the summons of the unaliver this moment, if I knew that I could save you but 1 hour's pang.
I hope, said Fiammetta, leaning on her lover's arm, I hope that you will never be called upon for so sad a sacrifice. I am sure that I should never know an hour's happiness if I thought there was a possibility of it.
I do not think there is any possibility of that happening, but, Fiammetta, when do you hope for an end to this prisoner job?
Can't you leave the old Marquess?
Excuse me. Can't you leave the old Marchess? She is anything but kind to you, and would marry you to one of her poor relatives.
I must go check the front door.
There's a
I
knock
heard a
on the
knock.
door.
There's a visitor, as if someone gently tapping at my
Tapping
chain.
at our chamber door.
She would marry you to one of her poor relatives, and unless you marry with her consent, you will never be rewarded for the many listless hours that you have passed night after night at her bedside.
Oh, but she will reward
It
me.
seems I have a
when she
Casey
passes
here.
away.
Hey, man.
How are you?
Hang on one
What?
second. No, we're doing a reading. You turn the
An
microphone off.
age to wait.
Surely you cannot grudge her life.
I do not, only so long as it is a term of imprisonment for you. If you would leave her and come back with me, I will make you happy. You shall have a happy home and form new ties and new affections.
I have not got so tired of the old that it is necessary to change them, but I cannot leave the Marquess. She is almost alone. No one goes near her to do her good office, and I am her only friend.
And yet, she won't give you liberty.
She says that I am too young, and if you must know all, she says that I am too pretty to be trusted in everybody's company.
I must admit, there is much of truth in that, and yet I cannot see its application in this instance. As far as I am concerned,
No, that is not to be expected from you. But this must be admitted that she speaks of men in general. Besides, she says that if I have patience to await her unaliving, that she will handsomely endow me.
upon my word, I think the old woman only wants to lease her life a few years longer, or I should say wishes to live forever.
How can you make that appear?
Thus, when you are waiting for people to unalive, you never do succeed in hearing of their unaliving within any reasonable space. It gives them new life, and the spirit of opposition and obstinacy is created within them, and they just won't unalive.
Isn't he terrible? Oh, for shame.
Nay, you will find, Fiammetta, that we shall both grow grey-headed in waiting for the happy moment when you and I are man and wife. Do not stay, then, any longer. Leave here and come with me. We shall be happy and defy the world.
Oh, but look at what a dowry I shall lose.
Never mind about that. Such a dowry would not make you young again. Nor would it recall many years of past services and attendance upon her. You must know how very precarious such a life must be. It may so happen that you may forfeit all you have deserved through some fancy of this old woman. She may take it to her head to insist upon your marrying her poor cousin there. You know, if you were to displease her, she might very easily leave you nothing for your pains.
I'll admit all of that, but it amounts to nothing, because she has said as much that she would never force me, only she wishes me to marry him, as being a worthy man, and one who would act justly to me through life.
Justly through life, what a sound! It sounds but little of love. Justly indeed. I could act. No, otherwise to the others, but to you, Fiammetta, I should as soon as I think of forgetting you as merely acting justly. I love you. I would at this moment lay down my life for you.
At that moment they neared the stranger, who was standing silently and motionless, with his sword concealed beneath his cloak, but eagerly watching them, and devouring every word they uttered, and by degrees they drew nearer and nearer. I am sure that it will be wise to wait a while. I am sure the old Marchese will not live long. She cannot eat and drink save with great difficulty, and I am sure that we shall not have long to wait.
I am willing to abide you by your wishes, Fiammetta, but it cannot be well to wait for an age. It cannot be well to wait till we are old.
I know that, but...
Fiammetta
screamed as her eyes fell upon the stranger, who rushed out upon them with his sword drawn. This gave her male companion time to defend himself by, in the first instance, jumping aside. "Mercy! Mercy!" screamed Fiammetta. Her lover, drew his sword and put himself upon his defense, saying, as he parried the first thrust of his enemy,
Villain, what do you mean? Is it robbery that you would attempt, or unaliving us alone? Will nothing but shedding of blood satisfy you?
The stranger made no reply, but pressed on furiously, with great strength and skill, for 2 or 3 minutes, when Fiammetta's lover, by changing his ground, contrived to elude so desperate an assault upon his life. Fiammetta, however, believed her lover was getting the worst of it. She screamed out for help several times, but no one came. However, it caused the stranger to press his adversary more quickly and to hasten his own movements, for he was quite desperate and furious, but this laid him open to the assaults of the other. But so fierce the attack, and such was the strength exhibited, that Fiammetta's lover was compelled to give ground.
What is your objective, villain? Speak!
But the stranger spoke not, but furiously threw himself upon him, and endeavored to beat down his guard, which his great strength and height almost enabled him to do. But, as the other gave ground, he was obliged to follow him, and then his foot caught against some of the tangled roots that grew out of the earth, and threw him forward, and his adversary, not slow to profit by it, and rid himself of so dangerous an enemy, stepped forward and received him upon the point of his sword.
A good deliverance,
said the lover, drawing his sword out of the body as it fell to the earth.
A timely deliverance, truly.
He wiped his forehead, for the perspiration streamed down his face. The day was warm, and his exertion great. "Oh, Jose!" exclaimed Fiammetta. "What a horrid man!"
A brigand, I suppose.
But he said nothing. He asked nothing.
No, he meant unaliving. There is no doubt of it now. No doubt of it in the world. But I never saw such an ill-looking wretch before.
As Jose spoke, he kicked the hat and cloak off, which the brigand wore, and which remained partially on. There was a ghastly wound in his breast, where Jose's sword entered and let the life out of the stranger. He was very tall, but thin, and emaciated, his features remarkable, and he wore some straight, straggling hair that was disordered and fell over his forehead, and the face of more than marbled paleness.
Well, I never met with such an encounter before. I never met with such an ill-looking villain,
said Jose.
Come away, Fiammetta. We need not say anything to anyone about this affair. I will not come here again, though it may be needless to take the precaution, seeing that no one could be brought to match this fellow in villainy and ugliness at least. It is so to my mind. Come away.
Wiping his sword on the cloak of the fallen man and sheathing it, he took the hand of Fiammetta, and drawing it through his arm, he left the spot.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on another Vampire Story Night. She's going to rest her voice for a minute. And
but I do need to show the sword fight picture.
Go ahead.
Sword fight picture. So wonderful.
That is the end of the first chapter, so she'll take a break for a little bit. Do I have lines in the next chapter much?
I don't know.
Doesn't appear so. I'll just be chatting with you guys.
Maybe one
while she's
or two
reading.
or three.
We should try ASMR. We'll consider that. I'm Shane. I'm a wuss. She ruins him. She doesn't ruin me. She's the best thing that ever happened to me.
I like it when he ruins me.
You reported me while you were tapping. That's not a good thing to do. Don't do that.
Oops. Gotta be careful sometimes.
Yes, you can ask us anything, Dorinda. You can ask us anything. That doesn't mean that I will answer anything, but I will answer as much as I can. How long have we been together? 25 years, roughly. We'll have a lot more than 10 more years together. We're going to get to spend a long, long life together. Not what I thought they were, to be honest. We're all fooled.
Well, thank you, Na.
We fooled you, huh? What's your top favorite memory with each other that you can think of?
Well, I have many memories, and it's hard to say what is our favorite.
To pick one would be to... Excuse me, I'm very sorry for my cough.
I remember when he went skinny dipping at Mauna Willie.
I remember taking a nude picture of her in the snow. I don't know if I can even say that, actually. On the top of a mountain in near Lake Tahoe. It was like 80 degrees, but there was still snow on the ground, so it was a weird combination.
Well, he's off frame.
What credentials do I have to be mayor? So what credentials do you need to be mayor? We need to have the electorate vote me in. I have to be 21 years old. Those are the credentials to be mayor in Arkansas. I think a registered voter in the city, all of those things. That said, I've run successful businesses for many, many years. I've been a part of the Chamber of Commerce. I've ran political action committees. I've been a part of many different businesses as a consultant.
He's over 35, dear.
Coughing up that chimney, yep. So, yeah, I've worked in literally every type of business you could work in as a business consultant in Fort Smith. I think that's a pretty good qualification since our city is struggling with business in particular.
We use some Lumino. It's the teeth whitening strips that are all natural that come in the blue box.
Jackie says that I've been together with my husband for 25 years.
Oh, congratulations.
And I wish we acted the way that you do. You look like you are still hot for each other. Any tips to spice up a stale marriage?
Holding hands.
Yeah, simple things. But not just that. Communicate. And allow yourself to become uncomfortable with each other. And communicate uncomfortable things. The things you aren't comfortable talking about. If you are comfortable every single day, over and over and over again, you're doing something wrong. You should make each other uncomfortable from time to time.
You thought he would say rope.
No, rope is not a good thing to add just to spice something up. Although I enjoy some good rope, that is not the way you start. The roles and understanding the positions within the relationship and the control dynamics, that's more important than the rope. The rope is just an expression of that.
Thank you. We should do some ASMR sometime. It
That
could be
sounds
nice.
wonderful. Do you prefer a bed or a coffin?
Totally super.
A bed is my preference.
He
More
has
spacious.
more control. Yes, the bed is definitely more spacious. He is the one with control. You shouldn't secretly become the werewolf. I mean, you could become a werewolf if you
don't
want
understand.
to,
Hello,
I
Grease.
suppose.
Welcome in.
Would I ever do one of those board things? No, I'm not a fan.
Good question. Is watching Nosferatu like watching old family videos for you guys? Obviously, that's exactly how it is. Completely.
Oh, goodness.
You don't think very much of us, do you?
Hello, sweet friend. Well, we are going to be reading Varney the Vampire. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You appreciate my credit content. We're getting close to the first of another month, and I will release a new credit video on the 1st. It won't be a joke, though. It'll
The
be a
Vampire's
serious one.
best move in bed. Horizontal tango?
Um,
The Java Jive?
Should get some Victoria era photos. Put them up. No,
They're somewhere.
they are somewhere.
We've got a lot of stuff in storage. One does tend to accumulate odds and ends over time.
Who got who into vampires? Vlad was actually what got us into vampires, arguably.
USA. Jim Bro.
Amanda, thank you for joining me and commenting. That helps me so much. Jackie says, I yell at him and tell him to be like Shane and open the car door for me. I don't think yelling at him and telling him to be like me is probably not good relation. I don't think that's good relationship advice. You know, I'm definitely not a counselor, but maybe you should seek out some marriage counseling.
Hello,
Maybe that
South
can help
Africa. We have some friends in South Africa. I hear footsteps.
Footsteps.
I do. Hello, footsteps.
Yes, I did watch the movie Nosferatu. It was very enjoyable. We've watched several different Nosferatu movies over the time. I actually just got invited to do a introduction in October to a movie at Miss Laura's Social Club here in Fort Smith. They're going to be showing the original silent Nosferatu, and they want me to come in and do an introduction for the movie. So that's a very big honor, and I'm very happy that they reached out to me over that.
We do have children. We don't currently have grandchildren, although our boys are in their 20s, so it's not that hard to think that it might not be a very long time until we have grandchildren. A good 9 months could make that happen.
They're not answering, and it's just a genuine question. I'm not sure what we're not answering. We are trying to answer as many things as possible. We're on 3 different platforms getting questions from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. We can't answer everything, and some of them are repetitive.
50K!
Well, we got to 50,000. That means we need to do a magic trick. So we're going to do an illusion here.
I think I've gotten calmer with age.
So what I have here is a deck of cards. What I'm going to do, I'm the only person in the world can do this trick, and I practiced a long time to become able to do so. I'm going to take a card from this deck, flip it over backwards, and put it back in. However, I'm going to do it using only my tongue, and you're going to get to pick the card. Somebody pick a card for me.
Somebody says they don't feel safe here, but you can move on if you don't feel safe, my friend. What platform are you picking?
Oh.
Well, that's important.
Oh.
All right. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a tiger by the toe. $50 every day. The holler
Okay.
make him pay.
This, we got to pick a card, so let's do
That's
this
fine.
one. We've never picked one off of that platform before.
All right,
It looks
all
like we
right.
got somebody that's put one in.
Ace. Well, they're two of hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Two of hearts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like never pick the ace of spades in a card trick because that's like the boringest card. Not that you purposely chose a boring card, but that's because it's so commonly chosen. I always pick something weird. So the two of hearts.
Two of hearts, man.
And the person who picked this out is Sterling.
Let's
Sterling picked this out on
if you can find the two of hearts.
No, on the
Yes.
it's the YOU, right? The YOU.
Yes, yes. See the two of hearts here? See that one?
Sometimes I forget which camera's doing what.
That's right.
He's got the two of hearts.
I know, ladies, most guys can't even find the bean. Ah, thank you for the
That's
galaxy.
beautiful. Thank you so much.
The galaxy is amazing. You
Thank
guys
you,
are
Calvin.
amazing.
Thank you, thank you. That's wonderful, thank you.
Next trick will be at another 50,000 taps, so make sure to give us those likes, shares, reposts, all that stuff. It helps us.
Ready? Oh, I wanted some water.
I was born ready.
Thank you.
Have I ever been in a Turkish prison? No, you're confusing me with someone else.
We have been in a Turkish bath.
Yes.
Those are nice.
That was very nice.
Let's see. What are they called again? Turkish bath. Name it. Umami.
No, umami is a flavor.
I know that.
The name is just right there. It's escaping me.
There's a word for having a word on the tip of your tongue and you just can't get it to come out.
Old?
No.
Haman. A haman.
Hammam.
Hammam.
Yes, we have
Yep.
been to a Turkish hammam.
Yep.
And it was quite lovely. I definitely say if you get to go to an amazing hammam sometime in your life, take the opportunity. It's a really cool experience. Very
Jack
nice.
writes Appalachian gritty crime. That sounds interesting.
Wow. Appalachian.
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 Aluminium.
I'm going to have some Parmesan cheese later.
All right, let's get to reading.
All right. You twisted my arm.
The spot was deserted, and no soul came near, but the body lay with its ghastly wound all sopping in its gore. It was a fitting place for such a scene as this. No sound was heard, and the lazy hours turned slowly over, till the shades of evening came on apace. The light grew dim, and the darkness increased. But there, the body of the tall, remarkable-looking stranger lay, without motion. It was cold and bloodless. The inner life had long since deprived it of its last spark of animation. Jose and Fiammetta quitted the neighborhood of the deed of darkness as quickly as they could, and it was many minutes before either of them spoke, so filled were their minds with the reflections, natural too, and consequent upon the strange occurrence that had just before fallen upon them. At length, Fiammetta broke silence by saying, "Oh, Jose, what a dreadful thing that has happened."
Truly, it had like to have been a dreadful affair, but it don't matter. Now he is settled, I believe.
"Oh, yes,
But you have unalived a man.
Truly, my dear Fiammetta, I have unalived a man or a devil. I don't yet know which, but that man would have unalived me if I had not done so.
Yes, he would. But how dreadful.
So that being the case, it is in my opinion a very good job that he is unalived, a very good job indeed, and he will be safe where he is.
But still, said Fiammetta, crossing herself, how dreadful it must be to be slain thus, with all of one's sins upon one's head.
What would have been my fate?
As bad, and to me it would have been worse, by far, but still, it is really a dreadful thing to think that there should be a soul thus sent to heaven without so much as a good office of a priest.
He would have unalived me without giving me time for repentance. He would have forced me to leave a world in which I have all happiness yet to know, a world which I am by no means prepared to quit.
Truly no, Jose, nor I. But what a state for this man to be in. He is so much the worse prepared ever than you, because his end was bad. Now, you had no evil intention.
None.
You did not know even that you were in danger from him.
I did not, Fiammetta, else I had never brought you there. I cannot understand what brought him there, what he wanted, or why it was that he made such a desperate attack upon me. My life was aimed at.
It was, Jose. But have you no private enemy whom you believe capable of such a deed as this? Surely it cannot be done save from some motive.
That is the thing that most puzzles me. I cannot understand the motive. I know him not. I have no enemy whom would hire an assassin, but there, let him and his deed lie buried in oblivion.
He has had no burial.
He deserves none,
said Jose. Oh, but dear Jose, do you not think that we ought to give him one?
Are we his executioners or heirs?
God forbid, but we did see him unalive, and not for his sake, but for the sake of human nature. Do not let us leave him unburied like a dog. He may not deserve it, but he has answered all his offense.
Yes, I'll admit he has been punished. He paid to the uttermost all he owed me, and I gave him a receipt in full. He will never make another demand upon me. We have quite done with each other, I believe.
Oh, I shall never forget the horrible sight. It will haunt me day and night, and I shall not be able to banish the terrible features from my mind. I shall, in truth, pass a sad life. I wish that this had never happened.
Why, so do I, my dear Fiammetta. But surely you do not accuse me of wrong. In having to save my life, I unalived this man. I was compelled, forced to do it. It was either his life or mine, and the truth to tell, I never was in such peril from any single sword in all my life, and but for the lucky accident that laid him up open, I had not been here with you, but where he is now.
Thank God for your deliverance, Jose, but what a revolting thing to remember, that there in the wood of Delnati there lies a corrupting mass of humanity, over which loathsome insects crawl, a thing that had once been a living soul like ourselves. Oh, but now, alas, what is he?
Ah, but Fiammetta, your grief appears misplaced. You mourn this stranger as if he was near and dear to you. Do you know him?
Oh, not I.
Then what have you to grieve about, Fiammetta? Tell me truly, you have nothing to blame yourself with. I do not feel that I have acted wrongly. Say what it is that causes you so much sorrow.
I grieve to think that the body of that sinful and wicked man lies unburied, and that no masses have been said for the repose of his soul.
If that be all you require to set your mind at rest, though the villain deserves it not, I will see that he is buried, and mass is said for him.
Will you indeed, Jose?
Upon my conscience, I will see your desire.
Well then, Jose, yonder lives a holy monk. He is a pious and good man, and will, I am sure, do all that is required. Watch and pray by the body till midnight, and continue there until the sun shall illuminate the wood.
Be it so, my dear Fiammetta, be it so. We will go to the holy man and tell him of our distress, and will reward him, and then I will see you in safety, and return to conduct him to the spot where you know we left the body. I would the villain had come by a less noble death than falling by the sword. Oops.
Oh,
We love the TikTok shop.
yes. It's so amazing to have everybody here joining us. Thank you for tapping. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for all the reposting. That helps us so much as creators.
Some words are no to say, and I sometimes accidentally say one.
We try to censor as we're reading. That's actually one of the things we sometimes have to slow down for as we're going.
It will be a danger that will never be forgotten by me, said Fiammetta.
Nor by me. What that man meant I cannot conceive, but then there can be but one answer to the question. He meant robbery. Nothing else could have tempted him to draw his sword upon me.
Oh, but why did he not demand your money at once?
Because he might meet with what he has met, and he took me at a disadvantage, and of course gave him a better chance of unaliving me, and running less danger in doing so. I am not, therefore, surprised at it.
Ah, here is the Holy Father's residence. He is poor, very poor, but withal he is very good. He is a holy man.
Then he will serve our turn for the better. For it would, in my opinion, take something more than a saint to pray out of purgatory such a soul that he must be. It must wing its very way through space, very much like a bat.
Hush, Jose, hush. Not a word about that. Here is the holy man's abode. Shall I enter with you?
If you will, Fiammetta, if you will.
Fiammetta stood by her lover's side while he knocked at the holy man's door, and after a pause of about a minute, a deep voice said,
Who is it that knocks on my door? 'Tis one who needs your service, good father.
Enter, said the monk, and the bolt was withdrawn. The door opened, and Fiammetta followed her lover into the hovel, or rather a bare room, in which was nothing save some straw in one corner, some few clothes, besides which there was 1 or 2 articles of necessary use and convenience. But they were very few indeed.
Well, my son, what wouldest thou?
Dost thou require mine aid to bind thee to this maiden, and she to thee?
I do indeed wish so much, but she is not willing.
Not willing? Then wherefore dost thou come to me?
You see, Holy Father, as we were walking in the woods of Del Naughty, which I dare say you know well enough.
I do, my son.
Well, I was talking to my companion, heedless of danger, nor dreaming any could be at hand, when my attention was attracted to a spot on the right of me, whence a man rushed out upon me with a sword drawn, and attacked me. I should not have had time to see him, much less time to draw and defend myself, but for the scream of her who was by my side. I looked where I saw her look, and saw him advancing, and had time to spring back and draw.
Did you unalive your opponent?
As it fell out, good father, I did. He rushed on and pressed me so hard that I had no alternative. My life was in great danger, and I could not rid myself of my enemy or preserve my own life except at the expense of his.
Did you slay him?
I did.
Another soul ushered into eternity. How long will it be before the wickedness of men shall cease to bear such fruits?
But, Holy Father, I did but act lawfully in saving my life. It was only the law that nature has implanted in us, and can hardly be called wickedness, since heaven itself gives us the power and impulse.
Hold thy peace, my son. Thou knowest nothing of these matters, therefore I say hold thy peace, and let me know what it is you desire of me.
That you will say masses for the repose of his soul, and give him a Christian burial. We do not like such a portion of humanity to remain where it is. We would that it were not entirely neglected, or deprived of its burial rites.
It is but just of thee, my son,
But I have known many who would have neglected it altogether and permitted the body of one of God's creatures to lie and rot like a dog. My son, you have done well, and I will for your sake do mine office. Nay, holy father, I cannot permit thee to do it wholly without giving the church some due. And here is this purse that you will find all I have. I take it, my son, not for my own sake, but for that of the church, to whom belongs all that is offered her.
And this too, Holy Father, said Fiammetta, giving a small purse. Take that, and for my sake do what may be done by those on earth for those who have departed, by a violent and sudden means.
I will, daughter. And now, Holy Father, said Jose, if you will, I am ready to take you to the spot where fell this man. I will follow you, my son, said the monk, concealing his two gifts beneath his garments, but rising at the same time. I'll follow thee. They all left the place, but went a circuitous route to enable Jose to leave Fiammetta in safety at the Marquess's villa, where she resided in half-dependence, being a distant relative of hers. Jose led on the monk until he came to the spot where the stranger fell, and where he yet lay just as he had fallen, a ghastly corpse. Here, Holy Father, you see the caitiff, a treacherous villain who has now been paid for his villainy, for perhaps a life of villainy. Perhaps so, my son. He does not appear to be formed by nature when in one of her most kindly moods, but yet it might have been that she impressed his character upon his features as a warning to the rest of mankind. It was so, most likely. But you see that he is slain. Fiammetta would never have known peace again unless the body was watched through the night by some holy man and prayed for. This is what is desired, Holy Father. And now I will leave you to your task, bidding you adieu and wishing your office a prosperous one and a pleasant night to watch by.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. She's going to sip some water and rest her voice, since she's been reading so much for your amusement. Thank you, everybody. You guys support us so well, and all the taps and everything helps us so much as
Do we like
creators.
bologna? I don't generally eat bologna, but I do like the song. 'Cause Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
It's the only reason why you can spell bologna, isn't it?
Probably.
Yep.
You're welcome.
We're
We
very
do
happy.
have more to go, but I'm going to rest my voice now.
We are very happy to be reading to you. You can't take any more. I'm thinking this was rehearsed for you. It was rehearsed just for you. Absolutely. It's not just water. It's salt water in a classy wine glass. For those of you in our area, I'm going to be on the 5 News tonight at 10 o'clock. An interview about the petition we're doing in the city of Fort Smith. So look for that story later. I'll probably clip out some of it and make a video with it later as well. We are going to change this city. Whether the city likes it or not, no. The city wants it to happen. They're ready for it. What is so proudful about posing as cannibals? I think you mean prideful.
Cannibals?
Yeah, we are definitely not cannibals. We can all spell banana because of Gwen Stefani. I really don't understand. Did Gwen Stefani have a song where she spelled out banana?
Obviously.
Oh.
It's wonderful, Blackie. Thank you.
How do you feel about Salisbury steak? It's my son's favorite dish. It was invented by a Dr. Salisbury in order to help treat epilepsy.
IBS and Crohn's.
Oh, epilepsy, IBS, and Crohn's? All three?
I don't think it was the epilepsy.
I think
it was the IBS and Crohn's disease.
It was adopted early into the epileptic diet, though. So, wow, I could have been incorrect, though. It's possible. Have I seen the new trailer for Lestat on AMC? I have not. I don't watch many things. I don't have time to watch many things.
However, I would enjoy watching it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we'll get the time to do so. I get a little bit more time to potentially watch some things than he does. But that's because, I can watch something while I'm doing the dishes.
Someone asks, good evening, can you tell me if there is bread in heaven? I don't know if they have a currency system that would work, but
I don't think there's a currency system there.
yeah, I don't think so. Last time I had fast food.
That's a good question.
Give me a minute. Probably a year and a half or more ago, 2 years maybe.
And that would be the burger patties.
It would be just the burger patties from a fast food restaurant, no bread or anything. It would have been when we were in Pryor, Oklahoma, I think almost 2 years ago.
Oh, Kelly's correct. At the airport in Turkey.
Oh, you're right. We did a Burger King. And wow, Kelly, you're so
We had
good.
some Burger King
Yeah, they had
meat
Burger
patties.
King meat patties in Turkey. That would have been in December.
We were super hungry.
Yep.
I do enjoy a good Salisbury steak.
Do I miss vegetables? Not at all. Not even a little bit.
What was the last show? Like a movie? Because he did take me to the movies on Sunday.
Yeah, we went to go see Send Help on Sunday. So that'd be the last thing we watched together. The last show that we watched, I don't know. I'd have to think.
Okay, I think that mayonnaise on chicken can be very delightful. I know it's not for everybody, but I have to make a homemade mayonnaise if I'm going to eat mayonnaise because the mayonnaise from the store is no bueno.
She watched Bridgerton. I did not watch Bridgerton with her. I didn't have
didn't?
time. The last movie or the last show series we watched together would have been a long time ago too. South Park, I guess. We watched an occasional South Park episode. That probably would have been the last thing.
I was expecting a scary movie with Send Help, but it wasn't scary. I didn't really know what to expect, but I knew
Was
that
the movie
Sam Raimi
good?
was doing
I
it.
thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi is a good director, and I usually enjoy the things he does. They're a lot of fun. I liked the painting of Bruce Campbell in The Office at the beginning. I thought that was good.
We have watched quite a bit of the Interview with the Vampire series that AMC has put out, and that's where I think we might get the chance to watch Lestat, but it will be a long time for us to get through it. He has to have the time to do so. Yeah, felt like a lighter comedy.
Hello, Nebraska. Welcome in. 0 credit. I'm 25. I have a job and want to get a credit card, but everyone I ask tells me no. Open Skye Secured Visa. That's the one you want. Open Skye Secured Visa. Look for that. You will be able to get it, and you will be able to get started there.
A trusted family member that might let you piggyback on
That's
a good
a possibility. What's my favorite band? The greatest musician in American history, undisputed. He has done the most hit songs and had one of the longest careers. Also with 0 scandals, I might add. And that is Weird Al Yankovic. A true American treasure. I mean, every style of music, everything imaginable. He can do it all. I don't know how you can't consider Weird Al Yankovic to be your best band.
What will our next themed space be? We still haven't gotten to finish the Tim Burton tribute. And then we have this Dungeons and Dragons house we're going to be getting back to when we move out of it.
Do we ever listen to any goth music? Occasionally.
I like Wedding Party.
That's a good old school goth band.
Sometimes I will still play Wedding Party and enjoy it.
The operatic vocals, things like that can be very nice.
I have to quit reading it, so I will quit talking.
Ah, are you ready to continue?
Give me a few more minutes. I'm going to have
Okay.
another sip of water.
What do I do for a living? I buy houses, renovate them, and I rent them out or turn them into Airbnbs. So I'm a full-time real estate investor. Amish Paradise is wonderful. I have a great memory of Amish Paradise in the country of Belize, which has the largest Amish population per capita in the world. It's in the tropics, but yeah, they still wear the black outfits and everything. It's pretty wild. But I introduced them to Amish Paradise, and it was at one of the bars there with all these gangstery guys that really felt like they were gangsters because they're involved in the other thing Belize is known for, which is activity of substances.
See, Amanda says her favorite is type O negative.
Oh,
Into the rare stuff.
I think they're talking band. A lifelong Weird Al fan. You're headed to a flip at 7 a.m. Is the drive silent of music? Most of the time, yeah. Yeah, most of the time I'll just sit and allow myself to think. Maybe listen to a content creator talking about the market or something else. Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm
All right,
ready.
here we go. I'll be chit-chatting with the group here.
You will have lines towards the end of this, but you can see
Not much.
It's a
Okay.
great effort upon your part.
The account I'll be talking to you from is the beautiful Jennifer's account on the different platforms, so make sure you're following her if you aren't already.
Please do
'Cause it's
follow me.
important.
That'd be lovely. The monk gazed after Jose for some moments until he had vanished from his sight. Even then he continued gazing upon the vacant space that he lately filled, as if meditating in his own mind and quite unmindful of the present. At length he turned and gazed upon the clay-cold corpse before him. There it lay in all of its hideousness, all of its horrible reality. The slouched hat was knocked off in the fall, and the face was exposed to view. "Ave Maria," muttered the monk.
Gee, it's good to see you.
"Ave Maria, gee, it's good to see you." Doing the Vatican rang.
I didn't do it.
You did.
I did not. This is not my fault.
Okay. "Ave Maria," muttered the monk, telling his beads. "I never before saw so unfavorable a looking creature. I pray heaven that he may have been better favored."
Why are you giving him a Jewish voice? I'll make you such a deal. Okay. Start over. Okay.
I lost the voice that I had for him in the break.
I'm sorry. His voice
It's
is gone,
okay.
but it can't
It
be
doesn't
Bernie
need to be
Sanders.
it doesn't.
Can't be Bernie Sanders, though.
I pray that heaven that he may have been better favored in grace than in features,
Okay, now he sounds like the Godfather. Gotcha. Okay.
that he may make a better appearance spiritually than bodily. I would I had time to speak with him before his spirit fled. You like that?
Yeah, I like it.
For I misdoubt me much of his salvation. But I will not charge him with unknown sin. That, he muttered after a pause, might indeed be quite unnecessary, seeing his appearance and his deeds. At least the only one I know of is the like character. Were it otherwise, I would be loth to doubt him. But two such proofs are enough to damn the best spoken of being of all in all Christendom. He paused again and examined the features of the dead man, unalived man, but could not appear at all satisfied with the success of the ministry. We do love the TikTok shop. I didn't say that word, I'm sure. You didn't hear me say naughty words. I would sooner that he had some poor but honest corpse to watch by, he said as he gazed upon the long white vestige of the dead. Of the unalived man. What is it with me tonight?
Is it the voice you're doing? Does it make you want to say that
I
one?
don't know. Maybe? Thank you. But I'm just like, I've got to not say the words that the social media doesn't like. Oh, my goodness. Whose leaden eyes appeared fixed upon him. I would, he continued, much sooner have had some early flower cut down before its prime. I could have wept and prayed for him. But this, alas, was but full-grown iniquity. I strongly fear and cannot be otherwise.
The monk sank down upon a tree.
Alas, what a sinner I am for uttering such thoughts. Nay, I'm worse for conceiving such a thought, and expressing it must be heinous. To have such a one would be to cut off the most worthy, instead of looking at the destruction of the full-grown sinner, in all his pride and moral deformity, as being the full extent of the length that he was permitted to go by divine wisdom and intelligence. He has filled his measure of iniquity, and the Lord hath cut him off in the midst of his sins.
The monk now devoutly crossed himself and muttered several of his Ave Marias and Pater Nosters, and prayed in bad Latin for some time, nearly an hour, when he appeared to think that he might be indulged in a rest from his theological labor, and that his mind might refresh itself. The monk arose and paced about the body for some minutes in solemn and deep wonder at the place chosen for such a deed. A number of fresh thoughts now rushed through his mind, and he assigned all possible motives for the deed that had been done, or attempted to be done, and also for the choice of spot. But this speculation was more curious than useful. Time passed by, and the hours rolled on, and the darkness came on apace. A heavy atmosphere seemed to hang over him, and the light gradually faded away, and the moon showed no light on that night.
It is dark, muttered the monk, but the Lord is my light, and darkness has no fears for me. I am in the discharge of my ministry, and am safe. The unalived man lies quiet and still.
Pardon me, that voice is making my voice dry out.
I love you. Yeah, the Duggars I first met in probably about 2001 on a sales call. I was going to their house. They were definitely not famous, and they were very creepy, and they made me very uncomfortable, even though I was, at that time, pretty used to doing in-home sales. I did not feel comfortable in their environment, and I was very happy to be out of the house. Feel better?
I do. I'm going to proceed in an easier voice.
Okay, I'll allow it.
We have a VRBO inquiry.
Yeah, well, I'll check it in a little bit. We'll be done soon.
He listened, but no sound, not the rustle of a leaf could be heard, not a breath of air stirred. All was silent and still. No one sound disturbed the stillness of the night. All was quiet.
A night such as might be supposed to exist if the last man had ceased to live,
said the monk. There was a weight in the air that appeared stronger, and had an effect upon the monk, and made a gloomy feeling come over him.
What ails me? I am not strong and confident as I am wont to be. The reverse. I am doubting, very sad. Yet why should I be sad? I, a minister of religion. I, at all times, am prepared to and alive, or ought to be. And yet there is this clinging of air, this clinging after life, as in all. But I am mortal, as other men are. I have not all the motives for life they have. I am alone in the world. I am but a pilgrim whose stay is short, and who leaves behind him nothing to remember, and no one to remember me. It is better it is so than otherwise.
The monk paused again, and approached the trunk of a tree, upon which he sat in deep meditation for more than an hour without altering his posture, or uttering a single word. A whole hour passed thus.
Now,
muttered the monk, as if waking up from a profound meditation,
man is here but in a state of probation. If he were not, what would be the explanation of the checkered course he runs? What's the use of all the various stages he goes through during a long life, and then to drop into the rottenness at last? Why are we educated and improved if for any other purpose? Why should we spend years in improving ourselves only to be deprived of the jewel at last, and to have it not only taken but destroyed? No, it is for better use.
The monk's mind was evidently disturbed in regard to some speculation which had been suggested by the solitary moments of his watch. At such times, all the strange and inquiring thoughts that could be devised by man usually arise and end his mind, and strange doubts and fancies will supervene, when all other thoughts have been banished, and they take their place. Man's mind is always liable to those fanciful intrusions, and will remain so, while there is a single important assertion or circumstance existing, incapable of positive and mathematical demonstration. When all shall be clear, and when there shall be no longer any play for the mind, any room for imagination, any possibility of conception left, then doubt may be cleared up, and an unanimity might be raised upon such structure that never would be raised under any other circumstances whatsoever. But, as this is not likely to happen, human doubt will exist, more or less, to all. We shall none of us be freed from that great cause of all the calamities of races. But to proceed with our narrative, the monk looked around him. He could, however, see nothing save the few trees near him, but beyond that he was unable to see. There was a strong mist up, one that limited vision and left no room for any other object to shine through or to diversify the scene.
"I would," muttered the monk, "that the morning would come. There is no light, and the moon is hidden. No rays penetrate the dense air, and all the while the air is close and muggy, not a star out or luminary visible."
He looked upwards and found that he could see the spot where the moon was striving to force its rays through some thinner stratum of the clouds. But it was doubtful, and the monk, of very weariness, began to count his beads and to repeat his paternosters between whiles and alternatively until he grew weary. I should have looked that word up.
Which word?
Paternosters?
Paternosters.
I
have
do
no
fear
idea.
that I'm pronouncing it wrong. Happy birthday.
It wanted yet another hour of midnight, and the night would not be passed for many hours, and the monk thought that the nights were so long.
"It is cold," he muttered, "but yet 'tis not midnight. 'Tis the moisture with which the air is loaded, and thus it is cool more rapidly than it could have otherwise happened. But it matters not to me. If I were to lose my life, I shall only be called home in my ministry. Therefore it matters not. I am in the discharge of my duty, and shall have the reward appropriate to the service."
A slight breeze sprung up, and in a short time the mist was cleared off, and not a cloud was to be seen on the horizon. There might be seen a moon rising slowly and majestically, while a gentle and diffused light shed its influence throughout the wood. Of course, its direct rays could not enter until it had risen to its full height.
"Ha!" said the monk. "Now I shall be relieved of some of the terrors of my watch. It will cease to be so tedious and so long. But no matter. I am content, quite content. Soon I shall be able to see the body, and then I will close its eyes. I had forgotten to do so before, but it is time enough. Praetor Noister."
Again began the monk, until he came to the last word, by which time the light was enough to enable him to discover that the body plainly, and then he knelt down by its side to pray and gazed onto its features.
"I see that his eyes are glaring widely. No wonder, no wonder. He met with a sudden and painful and violent unaliving. Poor erring mortality, what an end to come to! But alas, what can men expect? He who lives by the sword shall be unalived by the sword."
The monk closed the eyes of the man and pulled the cloak which lay open over him, and then leaned back against a tree and shut his eyes for a moment. But they did not remain long shut, for some fancied noise drew him out of the train of speculation that he was indulging in.
"He moves not,"
he muttered. However, he knelt down by the side of the body and began to repeat his paternoster again, and, for a few moments,
shut his eyes as if he had no service for them, and continued his prayers without intermission. The moon's rays now came with their full affluence, and the forest appeared like some enormous piece of lattice work, for the moon's rays were able to penetrate the leaves and branches of many of the trees. The moonbeams at length fell upon the body of the man, and he got slowly up until he rested on his elbow with his face towards the moon, and the monk, who yet remained kneeling, was still praying with his eyes wholly shut. Groaned the stranger. The monk stopped in his prayers, started and opened his eyes, which were fixed in an extremity of terror and horror upon the apparition before him. He was entranced, and had no power to remove his eyes. Said the figure, slowly rising to a sitting posture, but at the same time immediately facing the unfortunate and wretched monk, who was prostrated by fear. Groaned the figure by a strange effort.
My God! My God! Exclaimed the monk. Save me! Save me!
He endeavored to rise, but shook so much that he could not do it, for the figure kept his horrible eyes fixed upon him, and he shook violently. But after a while he contrived to say, scarcely audible though,
Avaunt, Satan! I command thee!
The figure heeded it not, but took some ominous proceedings by laying its hands upon the monk's shoulder. But this had the effect of releasing him from his spell, and he sprang to his feet, exclaiming,
The Lord of hosts, aid me!
The figure replied not, but rising without taking his hand off. A terrible struggle ensued between the two, which lasted for some minutes. The monk, being driven, desperate, resisted with great strength, but he had one to deal with whose strength was far beyond his, and he felt himself gradually sinking, till after another effort which ended in a wild shriek, he was forced on his knees. In this prostrate posture, the strange man seized him by the throat, which he compressed and thrust his knees into his chest, until the unfortunate and wretched man was quite unalived and senseless.
I got a lot more lines next time.
Next time.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for our vampire story time. It seems like we've got some B&B hostly duties we have to take care of. I said duties, which means we have to go. But thank you for hanging out with us. We love each and every one of you and appreciate you all. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you so much. We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Au revoir. Arrivederci. Ciao, baby.